Most people think getting rich feels obvious. More money, better lifestyle, clear signs that things are improving. But that's not how it actually works, because real wealth doesn't show up all at once. It builds quietly, in ways that don't always feel exciting and don't always look impressive from the outside. So while most people are waiting to feel rich, they completely miss the signs that they're already on the right path. And that's the problem. Because if you don't recognize progress, you either slow down or stop, thinking nothing is working, when in reality you're closer than you think. And the signs are already there, just not in the way you expected. Most people think getting rich feels obvious. More money, better lifestyle, clear upgrades that prove you're moving forward. But that's not how it actually works, because real wealth doesn't show up loud. It builds quietly, in small, almost unnoticeable shifts that don't feel exciting in the moment. No big breakthrough, no instant transformation, just steady movement that most people overlook. And that's why so many people quit too early. They don't feel rich, so they assume nothing is working. But the truth is, by the time wealth becomes visible, it's already been building for a long time. And if you don't recognize the early signs, you risk walking away from something that was already working. So here are the first signs you're quietly becoming rich, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Your spending has become intentional. You don't buy things just because you can anymore. There's a pause now, a filter. You start asking, do I actually need this? Or does this add value to my life? And more often than not, you walk away not because you're broke, but because you're aware this shift is important. Because wealth isn't built by how much you earn alone. It's protected by how you spend. And once spending becomes intentional, money stops leaking in ways you don't notice. That alone creates long-term advantage. You care more about stability than appearance. There was a time when looking successful mattered. Nice things, visible upgrades, external signals. Now that matters less. You're more focused on stability, savings, consistency, predictable income. Things that don't always look impressive, but feel solid. And that's a big shift, because chasing appearance keeps people stuck. Focusing on stability moves you forward. You think in months and years, not days. Short-term thinking starts to lose its appeal. You're no longer obsessed with quick wins or immediate results. Instead, you're asking different questions. Where will this be in a year? Does this decision still make sense long-term? And that changes your behavior. You become more patient, more strategic, less reactive, because you understand that real progress takes time, and rushing usually leads to mistakes. You're becoming more selective with your time. You start saying no more often, not because you don't care, but because you understand cost. Every hour has value. Every distraction has a price. And once you see that clearly, you stop giving your time away easily. Less scrolling, less random activity, less involvement in things that don't move your life forward. That focus creates space, and that space turns into progress. You're building something that can grow without you. You're no longer thinking only in terms of effort. You're thinking in terms of systems. Something that can scale. Something that doesn't rely completely on your time. It could be a business, a skill that pays repeatedly, an asset that generates income. Whatever it is, the thinking has changed. You're not just working, you're building. And that's a major difference. Because working earns money, building creates wealth. At this point, nothing feels dramatic. No big moment. No sudden breakthrough, just steady improvement. And that's exactly how it's supposed to feel. Because quiet progress is real progress. And if you're seeing even a few of these signs, you're already further ahead than you think. And this is where most people make a mistake. They underestimate what's happening because nothing feels dramatic. No sudden jump in income, no major lifestyle change, no clear moment where everything clicks. So they assume they're still stuck, but they're not. They're building. And that brings us to the next signs, ones that are even harder to notice, but far more powerful over time. You're less emotional about money. You don't panic over every expense anymore. You don't get overly excited about small wins. There's a level of control now, a sense of awareness. You understand where your money is going, why it's going there, and what it's doing for you. And because of that, your decisions become calmer. more logical, less reactive. This is a big shift because emotional decisions are expensive. They lead to impulse spending, poor investments, and inconsistent behavior. But once you reduce that emotional noise, your financial decisions improve automatically. And better decisions, repeated over time, create real progress. You're playing a different game than the people around you. You start to notice a gap, not in income yet, but in thinking. While others are focused on quick money, trends, or short-term wins, you're focused on structure, consistency, long-term growth. You're willing to move slower if it means moving in the right direction. You're willing to delay rewards if it leads to something bigger later. And this creates separation. At first, it's invisible, but over time, it becomes obvious. Because most people stay in the same cycle, earn, spend, repeat, while you're building something that compounds, and compounding always wins. It just takes time to show. This is what quiet wealth actually looks like. Not loud, not flashy, not obvious. It shows up in behavior, in decisions, in how you think when no one is watching. And that's why it's so easy to miss, because it doesn't feel like success at the beginning. It feels like discipline. It feels like patience. It feels like doing the right thing without immediate reward. And most people walk away from that because they expect something faster, something easier, something that feels better in the moment. But that's not how wealth works. It builds under the surface, slowly, consistently, until one day it becomes visible. And by then the gap is too big to ignore. So if you're in that phase right now, where things don't feel impressive, where progress feels slow, where results aren't obvious yet, don't mistake that for failure. That's the process, that's the foundation being built, and most people never stay long enough to reach this stage. But if you do, if you keep going when it's quiet, when it's slow, when it doesn't feel exciting, that's when everything starts to change. So instead of asking, why am I not there yet? Start asking a better question. Am I building in the right direction? Because if the answer is yes, then it's only a matter of time. If this made you realize you're further along than you thought, don't ignore it, use it, stay consistent. Double down on what's working, and if you want more breakdowns like this, focus on real progress, not hype. Make sure you're following, because the next video might show you the exact shift that takes you to the next level.